everybody?
Everything they got, questionable evidence gathered by many walls, but it makes such sense why they're in the game. Don't get strange. Don't get strange. No, no, no. Oh, now I ain't getting strange. Don't get strange. I ain't getting strange.
I'm still talking to you, Sharon. Hi, Spicy.
Anything he said, he couldn't throw away. He's a legal stain. Don't get strange. Call me weed by name, find out who's to blame. Don't get strange.
Are you guys hearing me? Are you guys hearing me? Okay. Okay. So everybody heard "Don't Get Strange," right? Okay, good. So, pardon. So you guys may recognize this picture if you saw the premiere I put up today. Can I turn up the volume? Oh, should it have been louder? Oh, well, sorry. Next time. Okay. Anyways, if you guys saw the premiere earlier, this is from the Daniel Villegas, video I put up earlier, and that's his daughter there. Wearing the Free My Daddy Daniel Villegas shirt, and that's right when the jury comes back in his favor, and with a not guilty verdict, and the judge has a whole attitude of this is justice correcting itself, this is the justice system at work and everything, and I applaud that judge because at least he's making that a reality in his court. Quieter than normal. Why is that? I don't know. Hopefully that made it a little better. I don't know. I only turned it up a little bit. All right, how's this better? Hopefully I'll just lean closer to the mic and I'll probably sound a little bit louder, which is going to be weird when I switch to video, but anyway. Here, let me do this. I'll move the mic closer to me. There, that ought to do. Okay, anyways, so this is from the video I premiered earlier today. About Daniel Villegas, who was recently exonerated. This all happened about a week before MAM2 came out, and I had posted it on the Erekose MAM page and was meaning to get to it, and now here we are into December, and I just finally, the Kose heads in the hangout may have noticed I haven't been around there much since last night and today and stuff, and that's because I've been digging into a few things. Woke up this morning, finished this off that I had started last night, and now I'm off researching a couple things. And after this live session, I will be finishing John Farrak's book, which is going to be fairly time consuming because I've only managed to get about halfway through it because I've just been really busy, unfortunately. And on top of that, also reviewing something else. In hopes of some future interviews here. But anyways, thought this image of Daniel Villegas' daughter was just kind of priceless, and so I wanted to share that. So, anyways, hello, everybody. It's quiet but improved. Well, I put it as close to me as possible, short of stopping the live broadcast and rebooting my computer. That's probably the only thing that's going to make it go back to normal, because the settings are all to max, and I've got it literally a foot from my mouth. I don't know if you guys, I wasn't able to do this before when I was with Fresh Start Monday, but this is my microphone here. It's a blue snowball. Pretty cool. Anyway, I bet you can hear me now, right? Loud and clear. It was hard to watch the Villegas needing to be held up by his lawyers. Yeah, I can imagine it was a pretty emotional experience. Yeah, I bet it was perfect, but in order to keep it that way, I would have to, well, in order for it to go back to whatever, for whatever reason it's coming through low right now, but probably have to reboot the entire computer to get it back to its normal state. So, I'm going to go ahead and just try to speak and project and then get through this live broadcast, hopefully. Glad it's not a yellow snowball. Yeah, hell yeah. Dang it. Let's see here. So, to go over some of the things here that I'm planning on doing is tomorrow you guys can expect another live session. It's going to be the international session, this international chat. It's going to be me, Mark Hodnott, and Mr. Capaldi. We were originally going to have Stacy Seabrook as well, but it turns out Stacy Seabrook's going to be busy doing something else at the time we're going to be live, and it's really not going to be possible for him to be part of it. So unfortunately, we won't be having Stacy on, but we're going to have a live session with the three of us talking about international support and that sort of thing. Because it's a lot lower than your mouth, the quality is almost too good. All right, so it sounds better right now or worse? Because I'm actually kind of holding it up to my mouth. Anyway, he's going to be talking with Mr. Paul Capaldi, who I refer to as the Mad Scotsman, and Mr. Mark Hodnott, who some of you may know, who you guys may have watched the video I posted the other day about Sturm Road. That was me and Mark Hodnott when we were in Manitowoc for the rally. He saw that road sign and he had this idea for us to pull over and do a short little clip. And so that's what that was. So that's who Mark Hodnott is. Tremendous supporter from Australia. You got Capaldi from over in Scotland, and who I refer to as the Mad Scotsman. But hey, he just went to Amsterdam, and he's gonna be able to talk to us a little bit tomorrow about him and his wife going to Amsterdam, and they got to go see Jerry and David Rudolph speak. And he actually got Jerry to hold his control question t-shirt. Paul took his control question t-shirt with him. He got Jerry to hold it up and was holding it up for a picture. So I have a picture of Jerry holding up a control question t-shirt. So that's pretty cool. I don't have that ready to show you guys right now, but I'll have it ready for tomorrow night for sure. So, but anyways, so cool. You're the black belt. I love that that's what Fresh Start calls me. That's awesome. I think he's doing a great job over there on his channel as well. I think from the first moment I saw one of his very first videos, I was just like, oh yeah, I like this guy. I like the way he goes at it. I like, he's just smart, he knows what to look at and what's fishy, and so I just instantly liked him, and he's a fairly likable guy, right? I mean, am I right? He's just a pretty likable guy. You just can't help, so. And then, like I said, his information's pretty good and everything. And so I was immediately like retweeting his videos whenever he would do an MAM video. Even when he did his Mike Hallbach video, I was like, yeah, well, okay. But he did it pretty tastefully. He didn't, he wasn't like really, all acid and fire and brimstone, like, or anything like that. He was just pointing out the really strange things that were stuck out to him. And so I could respect that. And so, anyways, I was instantly I was a pretty big fan of him. I liked him, what he was doing. So it's awesome to be able to chat with him and him calling me the black belt of MAM YouTubers. I think that's hilarious and I love it. So he's pretty fun to have on, and pretty soon I'm going to be on his channel as well. So you guys can look forward to that, where I'm going to go and be on his hangout. So yeah, talking about Paul and Mark, you guys can expect that tomorrow. It's going to be 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, when we're gonna do a live hangout here on my channel. So you guys can look forward to that, and I'll get that scheduled pretty much right after this one ends, just so everybody will be able to tune in and get the countdown and that sort of thing. So that's what we're doing there. I've also, Mr. Capaldi also spoke to David Rudolph, and David Rudolph insinuated that he may be interested in coming on the channel to talk about the staircase, which I was like, oh, absolutely. If he would like to come on here and talk about the staircase, absolutely. And Paul was saying that he was actually talking about the owl theory. So I know there's some of you here who are like smacking your forehead, and I know there's some of you here that are going, yes, the owl theory, right? So I basically tweeted that, I'd be interested. I've been thinking about doing a video just to go through the basics of the owl theory for a while now, whether I believe it or not. But I was planning to do a video to go through the basics of it. Maybe Mr. Rudolph come on the channel and we can talk about it that way. So that may be something that's possibly going to happen. That's not anything that's set for sure. Absolutely not. Exchanging tweets is by no means a contract of any kind, but it would be cool. It would be cool. So that may happen. Probably a decent chance that I'll get to speak to Steve Moore again, which will be absolutely phenomenal. But that's not set in stone. Finishing up John Frack's book tonight. And then it looks like John Frack, I might reach out to him and ask him if he wants to come on and talk about his book with me as well. So, but I wanted to finish the book obviously first before I asked him. And so those are some of the things that are kind of I'm hoping to be moving into here in the future, that I'm hoping to set up here. But I really would like to talk to David Rudolph, not just about the owl theory, but just other aspects of the Peterson case, and to ask him some questions about, just some general things and why what causes him to think the way he does, and why is he so convinced that Michael is innocent. I certainly see the possibility that Michael's innocent, but I'm just not so sure about how convinced I am of it. I certainly think that reasonable doubt is there when it comes to Michael. And so, yeah, I certainly would love to hear him talk about, why he was so passionately supporting Michael the way he did. I mean, when you see him in the post-conviction process with Michael, he has humbled himself. He is like a whole different lawyer when he's representing Michael in post-conviction. And I gotta say, it made him, to my mind, it made him a lot more effective as a lawyer. That humbling, I think it really, really, really made a huge difference. And I think it, to me, he just came across a lot more convincingly. And I think with that demeanor, he basically just ran that evidentiary hearing. That I gotta say, the family may have been right. That person that they sent in to argue for the state on that on the evidentiary hearing for Michael Peterson, that poor girl did not really, she was not prepared for that type of thing, and he came in there with his humble attitude and Deaver's misdeeds, and he really did his job, and I gotta say, he's very effective when he's humbled. He was pretty effective as Michael's lawyer before he was humbled, in my opinion, but I just gotta say, it seemed he became more convincing when he was humbled. And so I'd love to talk to him about some of those things, so we'll have to see if that happens. Anyways, yeah, there are those micro feathers in her hairs. I mean, they found those little owl micro feathers in her hair, so that's something that, you know, it's just hard to ignore that they found those tangled up in her hair. There's just reasons why. I mean, I'm like a lot of people. I went like, the owl theory, are you kidding me? What? Owls? Come on. You know, I know how you feel, some of you. I mean, I get it, but the more I look at it, there's just, I don't know exactly how the scenario plays out yet, but the fact of how those gashes and everything on the back of her head could look so bad and so terrible and everything, but there's no skull fractures or any kind of skull trauma or any kind of brain trauma. None. Zero. Not at all. So I cannot believe that this was wounds created from somebody that was bludgeoning her in the fit of rage or in the fit of fear of being outed because he liked to sleep with men or whatever, right? Whatever that reaction was that was causing this primal reaction of wanting to beat her to death. How are you going to only break the skin that terribly but not damage the skull or any brain tissue at all? So that's been my issue with the Peterson case pretty much since day one, is I don't understand how those injuries happened. I'm not saying owls did it, but I'm certainly willing to explore the avenue, because it does seem like owl talons are something that could create those kinds of wounds on her head without actually damaging her skull or brain tissue and cause massive bleeding that she would bleed out from. So, as I said, not saying owl theory is the answer. I'm only saying that, like other things, it's something I'm willing to consider for the time being because I'm open-minded. So, now, having said that, David Rudolph is pretty cool. Like I said, I mean, when I saw him in the way he was in Michael Peterson's post-conviction process, he was very humbled and just very, very convincing to me. More convincing than he was at Michael Peterson's trial, in my opinion. I thought there was. No, there's not. There was no brain injury. No, there's not. That's every report I've seen that the examiner, the medical examiner, said that there was no skull fractures and there was no damage to the brain tissue. In fact, David Rudolph tells us in the documentary that he got a note from her. Somehow a note of hers got back to him where she was basically saying that she didn't want to say that it was blunt trauma because she didn't feel that there was evidence of that. All there was the lacerations. And so this note that she had made that she felt pressured into saying that there was blunt trauma got back to David Rudolph. And that's actually in the Staircase documentary. I agree with you, Erekose. I struggle with the lack of brain injury, etc. Exactly. It's just the superficialness, the superficial nature of those wounds. And I know saying superficial with such horrible wounds sounds bad, but trust me, what I'm saying is that if you're saying that somebody hit her and was beating her with something to create those wounds, then if that was happening, it would have created significant damage to the skull and to the brain tissue underneath. So that is, to me, a very significant fact in this, and it's why I'm still, although I'm not saying it was owls, I am still willing to consider that it could possibly have been owls. Still working out how that scenario works out, if it does work. But the fact that there is the presence of those owl micro feathers and all that stuff, that's why it's valid in my mind. See, who do you go and see when you're attacked by an owl? Doctor Who? Let's see. I still think it was a staircase fall. He beat her in the head with an owl. Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. That's how the micro feathers got there. He beat her with an owl. Let's see. Sorry, but I'm trying to figure out how the blood is created. Blood was created in that one location. I think she fell down the stairs. I mean, it is all contained right there to that stairway. What if... I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked into the behavior of these owls just yet, but I'm thinking something strange, like, what if they left a window up there on the 3rd floor? You know, I think it's a 3rd floor bedroom, maybe just a 2nd floor bedroom, but left a window open in the master bedroom that stairway led into, and that they had been downstairs and watching movies, and he'd gone over to Blockbuster, and then they were watching movies, then they'd gone out by the pool, then whatever, and then when she started to walk up there, maybe a pair of owls who were mating or whatever were up there, maybe roosting or something, and when she started coming up the stairway, the owl's fight or flight instincts kicked in or something weird like that. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that's a very, very unfleshed out, just winged theory. But I haven't looked into these owls' behavior yet. I don't know if they've been known to do that. With flying into open windows into empty dark rooms and thinking it's like a empty barn that they can roost in. So, but it seems logical. It seems possible. So, anyways, we'll see what David Rudolph has to say if he comes on. If not, maybe I'll find out what he thinks on Twitter and I'll share it with you guys here. But anyways, and I'll end up doing a video without him. Who knows? We'll see where it goes. Yeah, but if the owl was flapping its wings, that would create some spatter, wouldn't it? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying it is what happened. I'm just saying I'm open to it. So, that one thing does look like an owl's talon. One of those wounds looks like an owl was sitting there and just clenched its talon right into her flesh. It just looks exactly like an owl's talon. That's why, trust me, I almost wrote this theory off a couple times, but then I looked at a couple things like that. The way that one wound looks exactly like an owl's talon. And, so, yeah. So I'm not saying owls did it. I'm not saying they didn't do it. Right now, like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and be open-minded and take an honest look at it. Brain fingerprint the owls. Oh my God. Anyways, yeah. So, but anyway, so it'll be interesting if that happens. So got that going on. Obviously it was cool to get the picture of Jerry. Thank you, Paul, Mr. Capaldi, the Mad Scotsman. He, was in Amsterdam and saw the two of them speaking, and like I said, got Jerry to hold up one of my controlled question t-shirts for a picture. You guys can see it. It's now my Twitter profile pic. If you guys want to go check it out, that's, you can go see it as my Twitter profile pic. Yes, Michael Peterson ended up taking an Alford plea so that he wouldn't have to go through another trial, because he's like 62 or 64, I think it was. So, yeah. So he ended up taking an Alford plea because he didn't want to go through a trial again. It was not found at the beginning. I've lived in really scheduled areas, and owls were not out and never came into the house. Yes, but the sharp portion of the blow poke was missing, which is convenient, I suppose, I guess, but I still don't think the blow poke creates that. And you can tell that blow poke was not like cleaned or anything. It had all kinds of, grime and residue and everything on it. So I mean, if it had been used to bludgeon her in the fashion that the prosecution says, it would have had blood and evidence of blood all over it. So anyway, didn't David Rudolph say the police found it? Yes, they found it. Brought it. Okay, before the Petersons found it, right before David Rudolph closed his or rested his case, they found it at the Petersons. Yeah, David Rudolph found out later in post-conviction that they had actually found it themselves. Okay, down there in the garage or whatever, by the front of Kathleen's car, and that they had found it there themselves. They took it out onto the front lawn and took pictures of it, and then went and put it back, and that those pictures of it never ever reached the defense. Those pictures never reached the defense. So they found it, and they obviously figured that was a problem and pretended like it didn't exist. That's kind of a problem. I'm gonna have to apologize, folks. Fortunately, maybe it's a good thing my mic's acting up today, because there's a bit of a party going on nearby and some mariachi band playing loudly. So hopefully that isn't going to be too distracting. So Stuart James is Kathleen Zellner's blood spatter expert. You guys will remember him from episode 1 of MAM2. He was the one she was talking about the ignition stain with. They were talking about the blood spatter on the interior of the RAV4 tailgate. You don't hear it at all, Allie? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe turn it up, because the thing's literally 4 inches from my face. Anyways. Anyway, so okay, you can't hear the band. Great. Awesome. Okay, so Stuart James is, like I said, the blood spatter expert, and so I kind of issued my affidavit about, or well, my video about his affidavit that I put out about a year ago, back when Zellner's original post-conviction for her initial motion for post-conviction relief that was filed back about a year ago, a little over a year ago now. So I wanted to reissue some of her, the really important expert affidavits. So I started out with, I believe it was the one about the hood latch, essentially, and the DNA. Then I did the one about, I did another one recently, and then I did this one with Stuart James. So, and I'm probably going to go through the other ones. I have a 2-parter about prosecutorial misconduct, where she's basically ripping Kratz. And I also, a few others. So, yeah, I know, margaritas, that sounds good. I wish I had a margarita right now. But Dr. Pepper's not bad. So, anyways, Stuart James is obviously, he's very, very well respected expert. He's on a lot of the like forensic files and all those kind of crime shows and stuff. You'll see him on there often as an expert. He's very well respected when it comes to blood spatter and those sort of things. And he talks about they you see them going and proving how on earth would somebody have created this blood stain over here, from turning the key or whatever. How do you recreate that? As it becomes a question for a lot of things that the prosecution has said in this case, is how do you recreate these things that the prosecution says happened? Because we can't. We tried. And that gets, I think, pointed out pretty well with them trying to recreate, as Stuart James' affidavit here, when they try to recreate the blood spatter on the interior of the RAV4 tailgate. There's drops there of spatter. Now, at trial, the prosecution's blood spatter expert tried to claim that when they were putting Teresa into the back of the RAV4 and throwing her into the back of the RAV4, they threw her in such a way that the hair impacted the door and made the blood spatter. Okay, impact stains look a lot different than cast-off stains. But Stuart James tries it anyway. Does like what the prosecution says, and he gets a dummy with a wig on it. They wet the wig with all kinds of blood, real blood, EDTA preserved blood. and they wet the wig like that, and they repeatedly try to throw this mannequin into the back of Zellner's RAV4 that she bought, and they try to recreate this blood spatter that we see in one of the pictures of the interior of the RAV4 tailgate. They are not able to do it. They take weight off of the dummy, and then they try and keep trying to create, you know, the blood spatter the way that it shows up in the pictures. They aren't able to do it like that. But then they go and they assume that Teresa's lying with her head near the rear driver corner of the RAV4, and that somebody is kneeling down with a hammer, and the cast off from when they pull backwards, the cast off is casting off and onto the interior of the door, and that was creating the approximate size drops that they were seeing in the pictures when they used something like a hammer or a mallet. When they used something like a knife or something, like if somebody was stabbing her, the cast off was different, because the way that the blood casts off the point of the knife, it comes off as a very fine drop of spatter. Whereas the drops that they were seeing on the interior of the tailgate were fatter drops of spatter, which is why it seems they were coming off of a blunter surface of something like a hammer or a mallet. So that's a very interesting part of his affidavit. Another reason why I wanted to share it and reintroduce it for those people who are just coming off of MAM2 and really hadn't heard all these things, and didn't know all these things were going on prior to MAM2. And MAM2 covers things the best they can, but I still think it's good to go right to the experts and see their own affidavits. So that's what I've been trying to do, is kind of reissue those now for those who have come their attention's back on this because of MAM2, and giving them some good things to look at. I wish we could ask questions live on mic, like on Pal Talk Chat. Let's see. Where I'm at in Wrecking Crew, that's exactly what they're talking about, how they can't recreate anything that the prosecution said, and how it needs to be the standard in trials. Yeah, and I'm hoping to, I'm hoping that Jerry Buting and Dean Strang's new organization, this new nonprofit organization that they are creating, called CIFS, Center for the Integrity of Forensic Sciences. I'm hoping that really does take off and starts to create a really, defined standard of what is good science and what is crap, and give a place, create a place, a database, a place for people, for lawyers to go to look and be able to argue in court why certain science is, not acceptable or shouldn't be acceptable anymore. Oh, Jesus, Dr. Peppers. Anyways, why certain science shouldn't be acceptable because it's flawed in certain ways or whatever, and they will be able to have collected the data from, somewhere that has it all put together, like the Center for Integrity of Forensic Sciences. So I think organizations like that are going to be good moving forward, along with the Innocence Projects and stuff like that, to really turn the tide and get the justice system thinking about getting it right again, instead of just, reacting to crime and hoping they get it right. Our cat went to the He actually does have hangouts where viewers can come on and chat. Not all the time, but stay tuned. Putting more science in forensics. Tomorrow will be a hangout, by the way. Tomorrow's live will be a hangout. That's going to be me and Paul and Mark in the live hangout. And I may, if there's somebody else out there from another country out there, Ireland perhaps, anybody? Here's the deal. You gotta be able to put yourself on camera. You gotta be able to let everybody see you. That's my only sticking point. But if you are from another country, okay, and you want to be in the hangout tomorrow, send me an email. Let me know. And like I said, be prepared to have your video on, because I feel it's more convincing and more endearing to people when they can actually see the face instead of something still shot or something like that. So that's my only sticking point. The owl theory will make Falcon's head explode. Everybody should have access to proper testing, not just people who have money. That's true. He actually does have hangouts. Yeah, that's true. Forensic science is so fascinating. Yes. What about the battery and how it fit in the RAV, meaning size of it? It was actually a Crown Victoria battery. It didn't really fit. And from what I've been seeing here, and I haven't had a chance to go over to Case File Reviewer's post on Reddit yet, unfortunately. But from what I've been seeing, other of the cozy heads have been checking into it, Jamie in particular. It's the warranty number, I guess, the serial number and everything that was on the battery in the picture has been able to be. That battery was under a warranty from a fleet of vehicles that is traced back to Manitowoc County. I don't know if it's the sheriff's department exactly, but it's traced back to Manitowoc County, a fleet of trucks, either maintenance or whatever. I'm not exactly sure just yet, but that seems to be what's going on there. Have they come up with an accurate test for EDTA in blood yet? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just don't know if they've done that. They obviously didn't learn from OJ, and I don't think people are real keen to learn from the Avery case, so it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, no worries, Callie. See, I wish we could ask questions. Let's see. She's out to dinner right now. She just must be busy with Christmas prep. I'm getting worried that he's going to start eating his fancy new mic. This isn't my fancy new mic, Paul. I've had this mic for a long time, dude. I've had this mic now for probably at least 2 years, but probably almost 2.5 years. Maybe 2 years. It's been a long time. First time I used it was in my Ryan Hillegas is a very suspicious fellow. My very first Ryan Hillegas video is the very first time I used this mic. Yes, hit the like button, everybody, please. Barely. I know that the jury's out until Monday on Len Kaczynski. I still think the vial of blood is where the planet blood came from. Len is a creep. Len, yeah. He is definitely. Let's see. How about Mike Osmondson being the only one denying he was at the Dassey house, when in fact he was when he does admit, he says the property was a crime scene and Stephen was in jail. Right. David Rudolph say the police found the poker but failed to mention they found it and moved. Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's exactly. He ended up getting the pictures that weren't disclosed to him at trial. He ended up getting them, and there was 2 officers that had taken it out onto the front lawn at the Peterson residence and had taken pictures of it and then put it back. Whatever sentence Lynn gets should be far worse than what he did. Yeah, should be far worse. Yeah, absolutely. I'm doing a premiere on it later. Well, looks like Purple's got it. a little premiere on it later tonight, so we'll all be able to go over there, and I can give you my thoughts in the chat on her premiere. So, and let's see, it's very disturbing that the attorneys in this case are so shady. Yeah, that's true. Well, particularly the prosecution. I mean, it still gets me, and you guys might hear, you might even get to hear Mark Hodnott talk about this tomorrow, about the way Fallon in his closing, he says to the jury at Brendan's trial, that innocent people don't confess. Now, that's just a lie. That's an absolute lie. He lied to the jury. He was, using that to reinforce himself, and it should be a big deal. Along with all the other things that are wrong with Brendan's case, that is to me a huge deal. So I hope it gets addressed, to be perfectly honest. How did we find out the battery? Okay, so I haven't been able to go check it out yet, but there is a Redditor called Case File Reviewer, and they have a Reddit post where they went and dug in and dug, and I guess traced back this serial number they saw on the battery in the picture, and did a lot of the digging, and I guess, and I think either sent it to or ended up working with Zellner to find out that it traced back to a fleet of vehicles in Manitowoc. So 10 for you, that'll be about what, I don't know, 8 for me. So this case is educated on so many areas of the legal justice system, such as false confessions. Yeah, I believe that's one of the big things that at least has come out of Making a Murderer, that people are getting an education about what should be and what shouldn't be in the justice system. Is it okay to ask people about pics for Stacy? Sure. Anybody that wants to take a picture of themselves holding up a little sign that says "We all live on Avery Road," just get a piece of cardboard or something. If the cereal box is empty, get a razor and cut it into a nice square, and get a felt marker and write "We all live on Avery Road" on it, and take a picture of yourself, holding it up, and take a picture of yourself and send that either to me or to Allie or to Stacy, or if you want, email it to me or whatever. But he's looking for those pictures. He's putting something together today, and if you get it in within the next probably maybe 2 or 3 hours, you might be able to be in the video holding up the sign of "We all live on Avery Road." So if you guys are interested, within the next few hours, get that to one of us. Yes, the family already has one, a shirt, but it says it says "We all live on Avery Road" on the back. Yeah, you can buy it from the family if it's in the link down below. We'll suggest the replacement battery could have been sold in a secondhand market to Avery. Yeah, well, I'm sure he will. Everything can be explained, no matter how ridiculous the explanations get or how many explanations there need to be. It's always explainable. So I guess to them anyway. Hey folks, if you have read John Frack's book, please leave a rating and review it on Amazon. Yes, absolutely. For those of you who have read it, if you really did enjoy it, give him your review on Amazon. Tell Amazon what you think of it, and that sort of thing. Give him a good review if you liked it. So please do that. Absolutely. No system will ever be perfect. No system ever will. That's true. He needs about 40 more, so plenty of room. Okay, yes, please, people, if you want to do it real quick, do it. Send it. You can send it to Allie. If you know how to reach Allie on like Facebook or whatever, send it to her. If you know how to reach me, people send me things on my Facebook page all the time. They just come in there and they write me comments all the time. So come on in there and leave a picture of yourself, or email me, erekosemam@gmail.com. Simple. Yeah, Just send a picture over. He says he needs 40. So, and I'm hoping he's actually going to also be using the picture of Jerry holding up the control question T-shirt, because I sent him that one as well. As well as one of me holding up the, well, I didn't hold it. I got my We All Live on Avery Road T-shirt. Just kind of wore it backwards so that you could see the We All Live on Avery Road, and took a picture here in my studio so that it was like recognizable where I was. And so that's what I did. But anyway. And then watch my video where I interviewed him for 3 hours. Yeah, also, if you've also read John Frack's book, you can go and check out Perplexed's interview with him, about a 3-hour interview with him. Go check that out as well. If you haven't finished reading John Frack's book, please hurry up and finish it and then leave a review, right? If you haven't got John Frack's book, hurry up and get it, then read it. So, yes. So, and absolutely, and from what I've read, I mean, I haven't finished it yet, but I've read a good part of it, and what I've been reading so far is pretty good. I mean, he's just pointing to all the things that just don't look right, that just look out of place, and to me, that's a huge deal. That's one thing that really helps to point out all of the reasons why I can't just blindly go along with the state, because it's none of it makes any sense. It's too tainted with ridiculousness, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. John Frack interview on Purple's channel there, folks. Go ahead and check that out afterwards if you want. I'm getting ready to sign off here in a little bit, so you guys can go check that out as soon as we're done here. Let's see, is there anything else to talk about here? I'm gonna most likely at some point be able to talk to Steve Moore again, so I look forward to that. Don't know exactly when or how that's going to work out exactly just right now, but it will be cool. I do know that Steve Moore is beginning to look into the case, and he is starting to watch Making a Murderer 2. Him and his lovely wife Michelle are beginning to watch the second series together. So and then at that point he's going to need to look into some documents, and it takes him a while. It takes him a while to be able to develop his opinions. He says, the way he describes it in his blog is, he says days to weeks at a minimum, basically, or, just in optimal conditions. So he's going to need a little time with it, and to look into things to be able to form any serious opinions about Zellner's most recent filings and all the evidence that she's putting forth. So it's going to be a while before he's willing to weigh in on that. But I'm sure that when he does, when he's ready, we'll find it very interesting. So, anyways. Hi, Karen from Sydney. Like I said, showcasing the international support tomorrow with Mr. Capaldi and Mr. Hodnott. Karen, if you want to be part of it tomorrow, let us know. From Australia. If there's anybody from Ireland that's willing to be on camera and have yourself on camera, get yourself all dolled up. If maybe Marissa wants to get herself all dolled up, Canadian international support, please, anybody that might be interested in who's from outside the United States, an international supporter that would like to be in the hangout with Paul and Mark and I, send me an email and let me know. Okay? Oh, you mean the premiere I put out this morning? Or, well, this afternoon? Yeah, it's a very emotional moment, obviously, when the jury finds him not guilty. That was tweeted, like I said, a long time ago, back before MAM2 came out, by Steve Drizzen. And I'd been meaning to get to that by Professor Drizzen, as I like to call him. But I've been meaning to get back to it. And this weekend, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to, focus on a couple things here and get a couple of things dealt with. And so that's what I did. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, Marissa. And we'd love to see you all dolled up in there with us. Because you're awesome, you're smart, and you know the case just as well as all of us. Oh, thank you. There you go. That's the Daniel Villegas premiere I posted earlier today. It's really good. I mean, I talk about some of the issues in the case, that I go over some articles that talk about some of the issues in the case, and then I show you a video of his trial when the jury came back with its verdict, and it's very emotional. It's it's very powerful. if mine and Laura's lives and hangout chats weren't so fun, Allie may actually get some more videos out herself. She says that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I do this, mainly because I'm just, I know, Paul, I won't eat my mic. I know it looks like an ice cream to you. I know what you're thinking. I know where your mind goes. It looks like an ice cream to you. You were just in Amsterdam, right? You think this thing has cannabis in it, don't you, Paul? Right? What strain did you get? Ice cream, by the way, Paul. What strain did you, when you went into the cannabis ice cream store there in Amsterdam? Indica, sativa, was it like Darth Vader or White Widow? Let's see here. People are so smart and fun. Absolutely. Let's see. On the East Coast, it'll be 6 o'clock. 3 hours, because it'll be 3 hours. So 3 o'clock plus 3 will be 6 o'clock on the East Coast. There you go. Lavender Skunk. There you go. See? Is there a hardback version of Wrecking Crew? I don't think there is yet. Thunder Kush. Anyways. Yeah, Paul took a picture of the ice cream shop he was going into. And he went there first, and then he went to 2 bars. He went and, got some, I don't know, whiskey, possibly beer. Who knows? Probably beer. What'd you get, Paul? What'd you get in the bars? Obviously, we know you ate yourself silly at the cannabis ice cream bar. But what did you get when you went to the bars and actually got beer or whiskey? What was it? A bot from Star Wars? Yeah, I guess it kind of does. Anyway. Let's see. We can't resist your knowledge, Allie. Okay. Coffee, strain cakes, and plenty of beers. That's funny. So anyways, Paul had a grand old time in Amsterdam. Hopefully we'll see what's going to happen. Obviously we know that I guess David Rudolph did say he might be interested in coming on the channel. It'd be great if he does, obviously, as I said earlier. And then getting the picture of Jerry holding the Control Question t-shirt. Awesome. Thank you so much, Paul. You're doing stellar work over there in Scotland and then in Amsterdam, as it were. So thank you very much for that, sir. I can't tell you how awesome it is to have a picture of Jerry holding the Control Question t-shirt. And like I said before, if you want to see it, go on over to my Twitter. It's my profile pic on Twitter now. So also, while you're there, retweet the tweet about when I asked David Rudolph if he wants to come on my channel. Like it and retweet it. The more attention that tweet gets, the more likely he's able to go, oh, okay, yeah, he's getting some attention. Let me go on there and talk about this, right? So if you want to, go on over there. I'll go ahead and stay on maybe for another 5 minutes. Marissa Marissa may go over and find the tweet and link it for you guys right here, so you'll know where to find it. So I'll stay on for about another 5 minutes maybe to see if that happens. But I basically, Paul made a tweet and I retweeted Paul's tweet asking, David Rudolph if he would want to come on and talk about the owl theory. So the more of you that go over there and like and retweet that, the more attention it gets, the more likely he'll come on and talk to us about the owl theory. So anyways. Paul is really funny. For those of you who don't know, I mean, him and I have gone back and forth about our little Captain Crunch debate. For those of you who don't know about our Captain Crunch debate, you should probably just maybe one day when you're feeling in a less than serious mood, you can go and check out on my other channel the Crunch videos. There is one Crunch video on my channel here on Erekose on Making a Murder, and the only reason that it made it on this channel is because it was mock court, and Paul and I were acting like the opposing sides of lawyers, and Mark Hodnott was Judge Will Fox, and we were arguing about whether or not Captain Crunch is American or British, and it's just in good fun. So for those of you when you're feeling silly, you can go check out those. They're pretty entertaining. How many countries have seen me now? Today it shows me in my analytics 47 countries. In the last 28 days, I have had people from 47 different countries check out videos on my channel. Hey Marissa, could you get to my Twitter and get my retweet of Paul's tweet about David Rudolph possibly, and put a link in here? Or did you already do that and I missed it? Let me see. Maybe I can get it in here. Well, I just figure if everybody retweets it and stuff, it might get it a little bit more attention here. So let me see here. Let me find it. There we go. And let's see here. Get you guys. Here you go. I got it for you. Got you guys. If you just go to this link and like and retweet it. Whoops, wrong tab. Go to this link and like and retweet it, and that will help. Maybe it'll get it enough attention, and he'll get back in touch with me and say he's happy to come on and talk about the owl theory. So there it is. That's my tweet. It's a retweet of one of the Mad Scotsman's tweets. You'll see that Paul has taken. He was in Amsterdam, took a picture of himself with David Rudolph, and he tags me in the tweet. And then I went ahead and liked that tweet, and then I retweeted Paul's tweet, but added my own text in, asking David Rudolph if he would like to come on the channel and talk about the owl theory. So go ahead and like and retweet those tweets, and hopefully David Rudolph will see it and say, hey, let's get on there and talk about the owl theory. So. Has anyone read Sean Atwood's On Making a Murderer? Oh yes, absolutely. I have a series of videos where I reviewed it chapter by chapter. Had Sean Atwood on for Thanksgiving, and I've been preaching to everybody that they should really read his book, because it really goes into the basic fundamental things that Manitowoc County was doing to Stephen in 1985. That shows how far they're willing to go to do what they feel they need to do. So she already has me covered. Okay, well there it is again. That's the tweet right there, folks. So anyways, so please go over and do that. Obviously, you guys all know Laura's going to be doing a little something here, and it looks like probably about a couple hours. So probably it looks like 2 hours and 10 minutes on her channel, and then she'll have her premiere. And and like I said, those of you who are in other countries, who are willing to, brave enough to allow us to see you on camera tomorrow, Obviously, looks like we got Marissa on board. She's going to get herself all dolled up for us. And we're going to get to see her smiling face. And you'll obviously get to see mine and Mark and Paul Capaldi's smiling face. We'll see if we can get Paul Capaldi to wear the bow tie. Anyway. But anyways, I look forward to seeing you guys all then. I'll probably be working on a video to put out in the morning, hopefully, before the live. But if not, you know, I'm going to go and set the live as soon as I'm done here, which I'm about to end here within the next minute or two. And as soon as I'm done here with you guys, I'll go and schedule the next live so that everybody will be able to get that link, share it around with everybody for the International Support Show. And like I said, send me an email if you are from another country and would like to be on the, you know, hangout, the live hangout for international support in the Steve Avery and Brendan Dassey cases. Send me the email so that we can see if that's possible and get you in. And just remember, got to be able to get you on. You got to have a camera that we can get you on camera. So you can do hangouts from a phone. You can download the Hangouts app and do it from your phone. So that might be helpful because it allows you to do it nice and easy. So anyways, however you want to do it. But if you're interested, email me and we'll work out all those logistics. And also make sure, do your We All Live on Avery Road signs. Send it over to Stacy Seabrook, you know, so that you can be in the video of his holding up the We All Live on Avery Road sign. Please do that. Send it to Allie. Email it to me. You know, go ahead and do that because we want to have a bunch of them in there. It's going to be awesome if we have, like, you know, just a bunch of them in there. I would just love it. So please do that if you're interested. And that's about it for today, folks. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you.